Pirate Radio. THBLLP. Hannibal.
Good evening, Pirate fans, and welcome to This Week in Hannibal Pirate Football, live from Frozen Sippies at 108 South Main Street in Hannibal. This is Mark Dowell. I got Joe Thomas sitting next to me. A well-rested Joe Thomas, I might add.
Yeah. That airplane got me home very late last night, but I was glad to be home, snuggling in bed next to Becky and just being back in my own bed.
We've got three special guests tonight from the offensive line of the Hannibal Pirates. Looks like Nick Thomas, Aiden Scott, and Patrick Arthod have joined us. We'll talk about last week's game at Mexico and what a weird game that was, especially the second quarter was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Love to get coaches' input on what went on there, but we'll talk it over with the players here. We had actually 3 touchdowns in one quarter called back. I've never, ever seen anything like that before. Not only that, but there was an absolute ton of penalties. Yep, there you go. Push it up. A ton of penalties in that quarter, and it was just very sloppily played. And then the way the quarter ended, the way the half ended, was the most bizarre thing that I had seen.
Yeah.
We certainly got a first down inside the 5-yard line. I've watched the white-hatted referee signal to stop the clock with 3.2 seconds left. The operator let the clock run out. Mexico could not get off the field fast enough, but I was surprised that Hannibal left the field as well, Joe. Did you catch up with any of that, or what went on there?
So what I was able to do, Mark, I actually was sitting there in the hotel room in Dallas doing training all last week, and I actually had Nicholas gave me a link on Huddle to watch the game, and then I listened to you and Mike call the game in there, and you guys did a fantastic job. I'm worried about my job security with Michael in the booth.
I'll tell you what, that Holiday is a natural.
He did a really good job. But as I was watching it there, we got that first down there basically at the 3-yard line with 3.2 seconds left. The clock stopped. They actually put time back on the clock. And I think what Coach Gershwinder was talking about there, they had actually kind of left the field and for them to kind of get back on the field. But it was just such a very odd game. I was able to backtrack on the video while I was watching the game in Dallas, was to sit there and see some of the calls. I know Coach Gershwinder, he's just got in here with us, but, we'll kind of go over some of the penalties in that first half of the game, because how do we have like 30 penalties in the first half and the second half have a completely clean game? It was just, besides me and the rest of the folks that were listening there and watching the game. But, I don't know if there was somebody from Misha as far as the standpoints, just kind of basically meeting those guys at halftime saying, this is absurd, clean it up, because these are kind of crazy. But, when Hoskins was called for basically the face mask, I rewound it during that time, and Trey kind of came out, was like there was no contact. I was like, oh, no, this is going to be a bad deal. But crazy as that is, there's got to be some cleanup on what they're trying to achieve is running a clean ball game there. Second half, pretty clean.
Yeah, and Coach, we've been talking about that when you just before you got here. That was the most bizarre quarter I had ever seen. It was frustrating for me to watch. It had to be frustrating for you.
Yeah, it was. And even that first penalty, I didn't even ask any questions because I didn't want to set the precedence that we were going to sit there and question everything that was going on. But it didn't get any better. But, I think game was going a little bit too fast for him. But, regardless, calls or this, that, whatever, there was just I feel there was just no flow of the game. They just felt like they had to be a part of the game. And that's the flow of a game.
I commented on that during the game. When I saw the line judge on our side, on Mexico's side, of course, I'm in the press box there. When I saw him wind up and literally throw the flag as high as he could in the air, when he wanted to call Trey Hoskins for a late hit, a penalty after Trey had gotten tackled, he got up and he literally tripped over the defender, and they wanted to call a penalty. Fortunately, the white hat waved it off, but when I saw him do that, I about came out of my chair, and I'm like, this guy wants to be part of the story here.
Mark, I was able to look back at that too, and you're absolutely right. He reached into his pocket, and he just wanted to throw it as high as he possibly could. And then the head official he waved it off, and I was kind of surprised in that. But it was that redundancy of seeing a big play when Hannibal scored touchdown, and then you and Michael basically just looking over the field. You weren't looking at the play finishes in the touchdown in the end zone for a touchdown. We were scouring the field of where they were going to throw some sort of flag on us.
It was strange to say the least. But on a positive note, at halftime, Michael and I talked about it quite a bit, and exactly what we predicted is what ended up happening. We predicted that our offensive line would wear them down.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the second half. Not only that, but our defensive line as well, Coach. You want to comment a little bit on that?
Yeah. I think kids refocused there at halftime, and
I imagine they had a little help with that.
Well, just knew that we had a job to do regardless of what was going on. We can only control what we can control, and one thing we could control was the line of scrimmage. So that was kind of the thing coming out at halftime is let's just go out there and control the line of scrimmage, do what we do well, and come out with a win. And I thought, really happy with our kids of just, again, they were beyond frustrated coming in at halftime, and having to cool that off and refocus and start over. It was just a case of it's 0-0, guys. Let's just restart the game and come out and take care of business.
Well, and Coach, what was shocking to me, at least in the first quarter, that first drive of Mexico, I would have set the over-under. Mike and I talked about this before the game. I would have set the over-under at Mexico putting the ball in the air at 4.5, and I'd have taken the under. They threw the ball 4 or 5 times on that first drive. They got a very talented quarterback, but that surprised me. Did that surprise you as well?
Yeah, it did. Kudos to Mexico's play call, and I thought they, especially that first touchdown, what an outstanding call. But, it's one of those things, it's an experienced coaching staff. They know what we're good at. They know that we were going to be able to handle the box no problem, and I thought they did an outstanding job of using their speed around the edge and creating some play actions, and like you said, getting the ball out there and getting some yards out of some quick throws and everything just to soften us up a little bit.
It was interesting. They kind of went away from that in the second half. Now, at one point, we quickly tied the game. They went a quick 3-and-out, and that really set the tone for the whole second half when they went 3-and-out twice in a row, and we immediately scored a touchdown to tie it. And from that point on, though, they kind of abandoned that passing game until it was too late. Eventually, they had to throw, and then we just pinned our ears back, and we had our way with them at that point.
Defense, I thought, did an outstanding job second half coming winning first down. I mean, that was a goal coming in, is win first down, put them in long situations, because that narrows their playbook quite a bit. And, guys came out and did that. They took care of first down. It forced Mexico all of a sudden to have to, try to at least get those yards back to get them back into a third and short. And when we were able to shut that down, then it was they're just they're flipping a coin trying to pick what can work. And our guys just did a great job of tackling well, just making sure playing sound defense and just flat out running around. I mean, they just played on instinct, and it was a physical, competitive game.
Yeah, they definitely had the momentum going into halftime, and like I said, that they took that second half kickoff, and we put them a quick 3-and-out, turned right around and punched that ball in for a tie to make it 14-14. Then we immediately took them to another 3-and-out, and that, to me, that set the tone for the rest of the game right there.
Yeah, I think it did too. I started having flashbacks of our state year, because against Mexico, we went into halftime down 7 as well, and it was kind of a coming to Jesus type thing in the locker room, and let's get back going again. And kids did a great job responding.
Well, and chances are we may see them again.
I absolutely think we're going to see them again. They're a good football team. Really, I think they have one piece missing, and that's that good fullback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
If they're able to chew out some more yards in the box and get some more first downs, they're able to chew up more clock, and they're tough to deal with, I think, with a real
if
fullback.
they're able to mix it up, like you said, between the tackles instead of the student body left and student body right thing that they ran. It's almost that, to me, in the third and fourth quarter, we were running their offense better than they were at one point. So, and you can't ask for any more than that. But yeah, you're right. They're a couple of players away from really being something. So. Joe, any other comments?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest question is for coaches, is that offense that they kind of run. Obviously, we watched Fulton the week before, and it was just kind of sad to see how that offensive schematic, where they were so tight in there, we could stack 11 guys in the box there and just get after them. But it was amazing to us, and you get to see that live there, Mark. But how almost efficiently they ran essentially a reverse counter in such a close confined area. But Mexico runs that same type of offense, but they're definitely more advanced at it. And, they got it spread out. It looks a lot better. But you come back in at halftime, Coach. Where is the biggest adjustment for that game? Is it the linebackers? Is it the defensive line? Where does it really lie at in that playing against that type of an offense that Mexico has?
Well, they're an option offense, a triple option offense, just like we are. So you really have to have sound defense in all three aspects of the option. Got to be able to stop the dive, the quarterback, and the pitch man. Luckily for us this year is that their dive back wasn't what they've usually had, so it was a case of their quarterback's a dude.
So
it was
he's very talented.
We got to stop that quarterback, and those wings are good athletes too. So, we felt very comfortable. We were going to be able to handle the box pretty well with our front six, our four linemen, two linebackers, and then safeties are going to have to come up. Linebackers are going to have to scrape to take through dive to quarterback. Safeties are going to have to come up and take quarterback to pitch man, and our corners are going to have to get in on the action too. And that's a big thing is just having your at the snap reads, reading the tight ends, reading the wings, how they're coming off of the ball. And, the biggest thing as far as fixing those things at halftime was just angles, taking better angles.
Right.
There were times we got caught inside and the quarterback was able to scramble around because we peeked our eyes inside, and that's all it took with an athletic quarterback like that. And then we missed some tackles on the edge just because we didn't have the right angles, and we're coming in at bad angles and trying to grab instead of coming in and tackling.
Right.
So that was big. Really that was just the main thing is guys, fix your angles, be ready at the snap, come up, make the play, and they absolutely responded and did that.
Well, Coach, it's hard to believe, but we are 5 games in. The regular season's halfway over already. Has there been anything, and I'm catching you with a mouthful of pizza here, has there been any surprises to you this far for the Hannibal Pirates team, something that you've seen over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks that you were not expecting?
I knew we were going to be pretty physical, but I thought a lot more of our success was going to come on in space on offense, and our ability to just push guys off the ball and run the ball between the tackles has been outstanding. I feel like any time we get ourselves in a bind, we can just go to that and we're going to be fine. And that's a big thing, and I think that's more of an attitude thing than anything when it comes to our guys. I mean, they have that attitude. They just want to fly off the ball, and they just want to beat guys. So, I think that was a big thing. But like I said, we have a lot of extremely fast guys. We have some really skilled guys, but those guys are just as talented when running between the tackles too, and we've seen that over the last few weeks. Is that we're a good downhill team.
Michael Holliday and I commented on that. I know during the game is Hannibal really this year, and not that it hasn't been in the past, but we are a threat to take it the distance every down. So if they set the wrong defense or we called just the right audible, it's every down. There's enough talent on that field that if the guys play disciplined football, we're a threat to take it the distance.
I've never in my lifetime, whether I'm watching high school, college, or NFL football, see back-to-back pass plays and 81-yard touchdowns called back, most of them called back. So that's just a testament of what they can do at any given moment.
Right after a kickoff return.
All three. Again, we talked about this before you came. All three in the same quarter, and all three, whatever penalty they called, was so far away from the action that Michael and I couldn't believe it. But it is what it is. So I'm going to turn it over here. We got, like I said, 3 of the players. Last week's players of the game, were the offensive line. They really asserted themselves in the second half. And this evening we got Patrick Arthod, Nick Thomas, and Aiden Scott. Patrick, tell me what are your thoughts on the game last week?
I thought we played really well up front. I mean, we could have ran really whatever we wanted, and it would have got 5-10 yards of play. And I mean.
Now, that's when it has to be fun to block on the offensive line, to know, hey, look, we're going to move these guys off the ball, and that running back is right there behind it. That's got to be a ball to do that.
Yeah, it's great because, I have confidence in everybody around me, and I know the guys beside me are going to get the job done, and we could score every single play we touch the ball.
Well, and I think that's a great thought there too, Patrick. But I think a lot of times, whether it's high school or college teams, definitely in high school, you don't have the weaponry that you guys do behind you. You've got a different assortment of running backs back there, from Landon to Darian, and then you've got more of that power in your face guy of Cade Hoskins. But then not only that, you got Wyatt Dorsey, who Wyatt is not afraid to lower the shoulder and pop somebody. He's not one of the tallest statures. I mean, the quarterback for Mexico the other night, I think he's about 6'2".
Yeah, Charlie's a big, he's a tall guy.
He's a pretty big, tall guy.
Yeah.
But don't let that take away from Wyatt Dorsey's stature. About a $190, and we'll get going with it. So you've got 4 different kind of like runners behind you guys. And I think it's a good point where you guys get the blocks going. Those guys, if they get to that second level, meaning that linebackers, that if they're on a one-on-one with those guys, I think we're going to win most of the time.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get a lucky break every now and then, but especially if they get on the outside, our speed of our running backs and our quarterback going outside is nasty.
Yeah, I mean, even if the offensive line misses a block sometimes, they've still got the chance to make somebody miss.
I definitely would agree with that, Patrick. But there's not too often at times you guys don't get your blocks.
Yeah.
Aiden, what are your thoughts on the game the other night? And give us your summary there. The Aiden report.
Well, I thought we played really good. We had some mistakes in the first half, and we really did fix them in the second half. But I thought we were really good up front. Even when we were not getting those big, long plays, we were going 4, 5, 6 yards per run. It was wearing them down, especially those D tackles.
Yeah, that's exactly what Michael and I commented on. That's what we expected to happen in the second half. And don't get me wrong, Mexico had some size. They had some speed. Their speed surprised me, but overall, Hannibal was a much stronger team and a much more physical team. So, Nick, what are your thoughts?
I thought the O-line and everybody up front played really well. Even our tight ends blocked really well all game. Did a great job of picking up some backers for some big holes.
Definitely made a difference there. Folks, I'm going to send it back to the studio. We've been talking about last week's game at Mexico. When we come back, we'll talk about this week's matchup, and it'll be a chance for Hannibal to get revenge to the only team that they lost last year in the North Central Missouri Conference. The Kirksville Tigers will be in town. We'll talk about that game after this 2-minute break. You're listening to This Week in Hannibal Pirate Football on KHBL 96.9 FM.
Ready, go!
Pirate Radio, KHBLLP, Hannibal.
Welcome back to This Week in Pirate Football, Pirate fans. As I said before we went on that commercial break, this week we take on a team, the Kirksville Tigers, the only team to beat us last year in the North Central Missouri Conference. This is a huge game for Hannibal. Both of these teams come into the contest at 2-0 in the North Central Missouri Conference. This is, of course, the last year for the North Central Missouri Conference. But, guys, I know we're going to get Kirksville's best game. There's no question about that, just like we did last week in Mexico. So anybody, everybody's got a mouthful of pizza here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to come out ready to play, and they're going to have a couple things that we haven't seen yet on film, I'm sure. But our kids just need to realize that we're going to get everybody's best game. Our team circled on everybody's schedule, take us down. So it's going to be no different with Kirksville, and especially with them being the defending conference champs. So they're going to come in ready.
Well, we talk about that year in and year out. The road to the conference championship runs right through Porter Stadium. Now, last year, Kirksville, I think they had a little bit more talent on the team than what they've got this year, but like we said, we're going to get their best game. We went up there last year expecting that same old doormat of the conference that we used to whip 70-0, and they flat put it on us. They gave us a good game, beat us by a point, but they want to come right back and show us that wasn't a fluke. And I expect a tough game against them this week. It should be a good matchup, though.
Yeah, it should be. I know our guys are going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, and we had a great practice today. I expect the same thing tomorrow. But this is one of the first goals. Win conference. So there's just another obstacle in the middle of the road.
Now, Coach Nesbitt's still up there, right? I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row where you run into two pretty solid, well-coached teams. Like I said, Steve Hagg's been around for a long time. Mayor Steve Hagg is, according to what Michael Holliday was telling me. You have any aspirations to be mayor there?
No, absolutely not. I asked him, what the heck
spare time?
Thinking? Apparently, he didn't get complaint enough from parents, so he thought he might want to get complaint about the rest
from
of
the city.
people.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, two very well coached teams back to back, and yeah, I expect a good one there. Joe, what are your thoughts?
So, I know that they've lost several guys from last year, but they still do have. They've got a gentleman that's going to K-State. There's an offensive tackle, Bennett Frazier. It was an all-state shot put. I can't remember. I think he finished in the top couple. Seconds where Bennett Frazier finished at in shot put, but he's their tackle. Any thoughts of basically putting T-Rex head up against him the whole game to wear him out?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think we got the dudes to wear them out, no matter who's lined up.
Yeah, from Aiden right next to you, kind of giving a bunch of hand signals here.
He just came out of his chair.
I am extremely confident in our guys up front on offense and defense that they can handle whoever's put in front of them.
My wife is sitting next to me here, Martin, and I just softly heard her say, she could take him. I love the confidence that she exudes there, but I think she said that to Nicholas a few times, and it hadn't worked out very well for her.
I've seen Becky down in the 3-point stance. It's pretty impressive.
It's impressive that she can get there for that, and then she goes against Nicholas there. Taking a third smack there. But I've seen her go against Nicholas on pictures, and she thought she was going to push him backwards, and he actually threw her with one hand. And you hear her go, ah! But, we know that they've got some good talent players up there. But like you said, whether it's Aiden or we put T-Rex across from him, whoever it is going to get the job done. Because I think, honestly, like not only just on the offensive side where we're faster than everybody, I think our defense is faster in that accord too, and can really get around the guys.
Coach, the weather continues to surprise me, just how hot it is.
Mark, it's going to go 90, 90, 90, 20.
Are you having any trouble at all keeping guys hydrated and such, or is it really giving you any trouble this year?
It really hadn't been too bad. Yeah, practices are hot. It sucks.
Yeah.
As far as cramps and all that stuff, it really hasn't been bad at all. I mean, there's a kid here and there, especially late in the game, that might come up, but it really hadn't put anybody out. I think a lot of it is just that kids are just a lot smarter. They know that we're going to be playing in some heat with now football starting. First game being in August. They know there's going to be some hot games, and obviously there's going to be a lot of hot practices too. But I think they there's kids now. They take care of their bodies. I think athletes do a little bit better. There's a lot more knowledge out there as far as what needs to be done, how to handle their bodies, and and I think that the kids have done a good job of paying attention to that and doing those things.
Now we're here basically like what Mark said. We're middle of the season here. Now, is everybody kind of healthy? A couple weeks ago, it seemed like we're kind of fighting some flu, sickness, things like that. How are we on that home front? Everybody kind of healthy in that regards. Now, what about are we good with injuries on our guys right now too?
Yeah, I don't think we have any varsity players out.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's what everybody's kind of always worried about. Is that injuries? Of course, here we are mid-season, and I'm sure everybody's got bumps and bruises and stuff like that.
No one feels good right now.
Right. Everybody's got those bumps and bruises, but just as far as that goes, that's a good thing for the Hannibal Pirates.
Yeah, we've stayed pretty clean. Knock on wood. And again, a lot of that goes to the weight training. You know what I mean, and just the a little bit more emphasis putting on the flexibility and those types of things. And that's something that we press. Really put emphasis on throughout the summer and everything is, hey, the weight room and flexibility and that type of thing, it doesn't just make you a better football player, but it prevents injuries too. And when you can play at the end of the season full strength, that's a big thing because there's not a whole lot of teams that can. We were one last year, for example. We were probably 50% strength, but there's not a whole lot of teams there at the end of the season that are complete full strength. And our guys keep doing what they're supposed to be doing and pushing weight in the weight room, make sure they're eating and hydrating right, getting enough sleep, then things should take care of themselves.
Well, you talk about that, and we can't help Coach, but to kind of look in the future there. You know, we're Class 4, District 5. Who would we, after we kind of go through the district championship, if we make it there and we successfully go through that, where do we go against the class or this number 6 team or 6 district people? Where does that kind of lie in?
6, I think. Yeah.
No, we'd go to District 4.
To 4.
1
okay.
plays 2. No,
I think it's
it would
5
be
and
6.
6.
So it would be down in
It'd be
Rogersville and down around West
it'd be
Plains
the
in that group.
Yeah.
West Plains, Carlton,
And then, so
Logan,
6 then goes
Rogersville.
plays
yeah.
the 7 and 8 guys. Is that how it would be? You know, it's kind of looking at that. I've seen the schedule as far as the timeline, but it hasn't given any kind of like.
Yeah,
I
know all
who's
sorts of
playing
things come into play. Even years versus odd years, and who had better records, and all who hosted games, and it takes a while to figure all of that out.
Coach do all that stuff. It's like, tell me where to go and who we're playing. Let's go.
Right. Exactly. Mark, these guys are down here at the other end of the table. I know Nicholas is trying to get some homework done, not for school, but he's trying to get something put together for a coach that's requesting some stuff. But I'm going to ask this to Patrick. You know, you guys are playing this week you guys had a good practice. Coach has made several comments in the past history as far as, like, I know when the guys have good practice, I know what to expect. We kind of see what's going on. What are you expecting from the Kirksville game for your offensive line guys? Now, Patrick is the center for Hannibal Pirates, so he's basically that central format. He's like the drummer of that offensive line, okay? So, Pat, what do you feel like you guys need to do to have a successful achievement for Friday night's ball game?
I mean, I think we just need to play as good as possible because last year we really didn't have a good game. We only put up 13 or 14 points.
Yeah, it was 13. Lost 14-13. Yeah.
And I mean, that's not a successful game at all for us. I mean, we're looking to put up a lot of points like we do every game, no matter who we're playing. But I think we're looking to no pressures, no sacks. And no
penalties.
Yeah, no penalties up front. Just being focused all game. And
exactly. Aiden, same question to you.
Well, I really thought that the fumbles last year really affected us, and those turnovers. I think we had a pick.
And turned it over 3 times first half last year.
Yeah.
And then I think we had 3 fumbles, and even with like that kind of game, we were still only behind.
Still in
point.
it, right? Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just a lot of bad things that happened that game. But I think if we just play without injury, we keep the ball in our hands, it will be a great game for us.
Well, Coach, do you have any closing thoughts about ready to wrap it up this week? So, what are your thoughts? Or Nick, you got any closing thoughts there? Same question. So, what are you looking at this week? What's important to you on that offensive line?
Just getting.
Put it up to your face. There you go.
Against Kirksville.
It won't bite
you. Putting it to them. I think our front 5 guys are better than their front 5 guys. So really just showing that in the game and proving it to everybody.
And asserting yourself, yeah. Yep. All right, folks, that's going to do it. So tune in Friday night, and you'll be able to catch that game right here on KHBL. We'll be on the air at 6:45 p.m., followed by 7 o'clock kickoff right here on your home for Hannibal Pirate Football, KHBL 96.9 FM. For my partner, Joe Thomas, and head coach, Jeff Geschwender, the 3 Hannibal Pirate offensive linemen, Patrick Arthod, Nick Thomas, and Aiden Scott. This is Mark Dow saying good night from Frozen Sippies.
Ready, go!
Pirate Radio, KHBLLP, Hannibal.